Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back for the next installment of everyone's favorite video, How to Score High in JUBILEE. And, as always, I must lead with a caveat today that your results may vary because my box is very, very different than your box. Or your box is very, very different from the other person's box. However, these are the strategies, the terms that you must beat the stage on. How you do it with your own box and whatever units you have currently is entirely up to you. So, I don't expect you to have a full protection gauge on turn 2. I don't expect you to be able to dethrone me and place top or rank 4 after watching this video, unless you have a box that is equivalent or better than mine. Or you get some straight up godly luck that I cannot even fathom. But this will at least give you the overall understanding of what you need to do on each stage. Now, the second caveat is that I do not like this JUBILEE. I think this JUBILEE was probably one of the worst made so far, and I will go into that on a separate video, but I am not a fan. This JUBILEE requires very, very specific teams if you want to place generally high. And not a lot of people are going to have those teams. So just take that into account when you look at the teams that I'm going to use in these 4 stages, because I only use one team on the boss battle. But without further ado, let's dive into normal battle number 1 with the fire typing. Alright, so here is the team that I used for normal battle 1. Now, I think third caveat is this is going to be a very, very long video. They always are, because I'm trying to fit in 4 stages worth of strategies, and for here I'm going to try and put in some alternate teams, since most of them I'm using the new Hakurou, which not a lot of people are going to have unless you summoned on it. Hakurou is a very, very, very good protector. Probably, right now, I would put him at number 2 for me. Surprising, yes. But I don't expect everyone to have them. I expect people to have people from the general banner, like the Orc, or Charybdis, or Veldora, or something. So, I'm going to try and use a few different team strategies for at least a couple of these stages. But we're running Hakurou, we're running Benimaru, Fire Millum, Fire Shuna, Wind Millum, and Phobio. And then we've got the normal 3 protection gauge units that give me, half a meter protection gauge. You are here for your single target damage and the crit boost. You are here for orb changing, and that is it. You're here for your alt boost. You're here if, on the very, very small chance that I have enough points to use the crit resistance down. And then you are here for your big boy AoE damage. So let's dive in, and let's take a look at what we can get turn 1 and 2. So, this team is pretty simple. You're going for a single target smash and an AoE smash with Benimaru. And depending on your level of Benimaru, it might just be better to do the AoE against the final turn because there are 3 people. Because right now, my AoE Benimaru buffed up does more damage than my single target Millum buffed up does. And just a fact of Millum being 84 and Benimaru being 100. Just pure stats right here. But we start out with 4 blue and 2 green. That does not change, and so that is why Fire Shuna is here, the free-to-play unit. You can also bring, I think, Light Millum, the 4-star. She also changes greens to blues if you don't have the Fire Shuna because you were not playing during the Fire meta, which was in January. So 4-star Light Millum, obviously much easier to obtain than a unit that you can no longer farm. But we'll go ahead and use her double orb change right here. And then we'll send all 6 orbs to get, that almost double protection meter right here. Now, using Hakurou here is actually really nice, because it means I don't have to bring Fire Shizu for the orb change on the off chance that I get blues, which I generally always do. So let's take a look. And yeah, see... Okay, well, that's hilarious. Okay, well, I mean, I guess that's what we're gonna do. So, If I was using the Orc of Disaster, which I think will be the next video, or the next segment of using the Orc on this stage, I would not be able to change this blue, because I don't have any orb changers that change blue to something else. I have people that change to blue, or to orange, but this blue is going to stay, and I kind of need the entire 6 hand if I want to kill these mushrooms, because every single normal battle is a turn 3 kill, and I don't even think Fire Shuna is going to be able to pull this off, but, you know, we will try. And actually, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and pop this. Because we're not going to ult with Benimaru. So we can at least increase the orange damage by 10%. Maybe help out killing here. Alright, but that gets us another Hakurou gauge for next turn as well. So let's see how this goes. Will Benimaru be able to kill here with the 200%? He's got damage up, so I think so. Yeah, okay. But he doesn't have his ult, so I guess we're just going to have to ult with Fire Shuna, I guess. So at least you guys understand. So now, right here, we're going to use Fire Millim's crit buff. And then we're going to bring in Wind Millim for Fire Millim, I guess. We're going to use Hakurou again to get another 6-card send of orange, and then we will have enough points because Hakurou gives us 40. We have 85, which means we can use the ult boost now here as well. And then we do have enough points, so we'll bring in Phobio for Wind Millim. That way we don't lose any type advantage damage, because attacking with Wind Millim would not gain us any points because we are not type advantage over these rocks with Wind Millim. So it's always important, even if you do have Wind Millim and you don't have enough points to use Phobio, bring Phobio in just for the extra 2,000, 4,000 damage we're going to do here. We'll use the crit resistant, not that one. Crit resistance down on one of them. I don't really know. Probably the middle one? Okay. So, we're going to spread the damage out now. So 1, 2, probably just you, and then the ult. So we're going to spread the damage, do our best to get the mushrooms down to as low HP as possible without killing, and then the ult will finish them off. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the 200% goes on to the last mushroom here. Alright, pretty good damage, and then Fire Shuna will wipe the rest of the mushrooms up, and 11, 13, and 11. So, if that were my Benimaru, that would have been like 26, 27,000, so quite a bit higher. But 37.5 is not a bad starting turn, considering we used a free-to-play unit to ult. So let's try again, and let's see if we can get the Benimaru strat. Okay. This should work. We've got a 2-2-2 scenario, but we should get Benimaru's ult here. So let's go ahead. We're on turn 2 now. We have already used Wind Shuna to orb change on turn 1, get the 6-card of blues. So that's why we are almost to double Hakurou gauge. We will go ahead and use Hakurou here as well to get the entire 6-card send, and then we will go ahead and go in for the kill here. So yeah, we get ults for literally everyone. But because my Benimaru is stronger than both of these two units combined, I'm just going to do the ult with Benimaru on turn 3. But let's go ahead and kill these mushrooms. Now, the problem that I'm seeing a lot of people run into is, like here, is that you can't kill the mushrooms in one turn. Just like that. Which pushes you onto turn 4, because Shuna or Millim just don't have the DPS, so they don't get the additional card. Most of the time I would want like 3 Benimaru cards, that way it could be like a 3-2, or a 4 card over here and then 2 Bennies over here, and that's enough to kill. But we do have that problem right here where you just can't do it. So let's go ahead and just burn these. Alright, so that mushroom's dead, but we're on turn 4 now, and turn 3 is the kill turn that you want to finish this fight in. So we're already 1 turn past, but we can at least use the buff in the way that I would like to, just 1 turn earlier. So right here, we will go ahead and use that. We will use that. So we've got the attack boost on Benimaru, we've got the crit boost for everyone, and then we'll go ahead and flip out... Wind Milim for Fire Milim, since she only has one card. We will use Hakurou. Get those 40 points back, 70 points now, so we have enough to use Wind Milim, and then we can also bring in Phobio for Wind Milim, you know, for that type advantage right here again that I was talking about earlier. And then we can also lower the crit resistance on one of the mushrooms. So here we can go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the Benimaru ult. And this is what you would want to happen, but on turn 3, not turn 4. So I'll leave it at this. So yeah, 25, 29, a lot more than Fire Shuna's 11,000, 12,000 damage. So had we finished this on turn 9, this would have been like a 39-6 right here, because I think it's like 2,000 points or something that we drop off of this. But that's the strategy for stage 1. Let's try it again, but this time with the Orc, since people may or may not have Hakurou. Alright, so here we are using the same team essentially, but with the Orc of Disaster as our leader. And instead of Phobio, we have Shizu. Now this is because the Orc only changes greens to oranges, and so if on the next hand we get some blues, then we're going to need Shizu to change those to oranges as well. That way we can get a full 6-card send. But let's bring in Shizu now for Shuna. And then we'll go ahead and take care of this mushroom right here. Strategy is still the same. 3 turns, 3 kills, and buff as much as you can on turn 3 against the 3 mushrooms. So let's see how our hand plays out right here. Alright, so this actually looks pretty good here. So we do have that blue that the Orc is not going to change right here. He's just going to change the 1 green, really, so we could have used Hanada or something at this point. But we do need the skill points, so let's go ahead and use Shizu to change that blue. And then, hopefully, crossing our fingers, we can kill these mushrooms right here. Hopefully. No guard. You had to do it, huh? Let's see if we still have enough to kill it. Oh, we pierced. Holy crap. Alright, okay, so he did guard the first hit, so we weren't entirely sure. But now we have turn 3. We have 3 ults, technically. But really, my highest score came from just with the AoE with Benimaru. So it's not really necessary. If your Benimaru is lower and your Milim is higher, or they're the same level, then Milim will hit harder, so you could choose right here. But for now, I'm just going to do the AoE with Benimaru because he is my strongest hitter. Or no, okay, let's go with the single and the double, just so people can get that understanding. So right here, we're going to swap out Shizu for Wind Milim. And then we're going to use the Orc right here. That way we get that full 6-card send. We also get the extra skill points, so now we have enough to use both buffs and Benimaru's attack buff, which also boosts orange damage. So now, what we're going to do here is we're going to do 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to launch Milim at one of you guys, since you'll have lower health, because Benimaru is going to hit like a truck. And then we will AoE the other 2, and then we'll see what kind of score we get. So 1, 2... and then Milim will hit the third one decently hard, okay. And then Milim will take out that middle mushroom, 21,000. And then Benimaru will clean up with the AoE 26.5. So obviously hits a little bit harder than my Milim single target. And that gives us 39-3 as a final score, which is pretty good. I think that's close to my current score. So definitely can work for you. I would have maybe gotten actually a little higher had I used the AoE by itself, because Benimaru hits harder than Milim. But there's the Orc strategy right there, needing Shizu for the orb change instead of bringing Phobio. But let's move on to Normal Battle 2 now. Okay, so here begins the real fun. Boss, or Normal Battle 2, you want to use a water typing team. And I have attempted this with Chloe. And I have attempted this with other protectors, and they all haven't really worked out because it's still a 3-turn kill. And the water team, my water team, lacks a certain amount of DPS because my Alice is 80 and my Velzard is 80. My Soei and Rimuru are just fine, but the thing is I don't get ults on turn 3, which is where you need them, using Chloe. She makes greens, which is great, but that doesn't really feed us the ult gauge. So we're using Hakurou. Again, a new unit that not many people have pulled for because they're waiting, or they're saving, or they just only Hakurou. One of the 3. I don't know what your reasoning is. However, this is the team that I used. So Hakurou, Alice, Windmillum, Water Rimuru, Soei, and Velzard. Again, with the 3 protection characters up front. And this team is janky. I don't like it. It took a while for me to figure this one out. Because like I said, I was trying with Chloe. Millum doesn't do shit here because I don't need guard. I tried using the Orc, but we've got blues incoming, and so I don't have a blue orb changer, and I don't want to make room for a blue orb changer on this team because we pretty much need every spot. So here you get 2 blues and 4 greens, which means you'll need Alice or I think Yuki, to change these 2 orbs into a 6-hand of green, which is fine because I have enough that I will get Hakurou next turn. So let's go ahead and swap out Millum for Velzard. Actually, let's swap out Alice for Velzard, and then Soei for Millum. That way we get that type advantage attacks against the fire bat. And let's go ahead and just take it out. So again, we get a Hakurou gauge right here. Pop, pop. My Velzard just does not hit hard. She just doesn't have dupes. It's just unfortunate that my luck is ass, but it is what it is. Alright, so this turn, and it doesn't even work out for us. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe we don't get such crap luck. So again, starting out with the four greens that we'll use Alice to change into 6. And then we'll bring in Soei. And we'll bring in Velzard. Honestly, you could probably put Soei up front and get the skill points on him. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is, though. If you have duped out Soei and you need the skill points, then by all means. So, first bat is down. Let's see what the draw is for the second hand. Because this turn right here is the one that really murders people. Okay, that's fine. So, what we're going to do here is we are going to use the Frostbite and the Velzard buff right here. And we're also going to use Hakurou to get an entire 6-card send. Now, Velzard, because she does the most damage out of this with this attack buff on. And the Frostbite for the damage over time. So, in this turn, we're going to go for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the final hit on this bat. And if we don't kill them, we will get them low enough where the Frostbite will kill them while we're still in turn 2, technically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this last hit on this bat. I mean, if your Velzard is maxed out, you'll probably just kill outright, but mine is not, so they should die from this Frostbite. And there's 1 down, 2 down, and 3 down. Alright, so 3 bats, 3 deaths from the Frostbite on turn 2 still, so this is now entering turn 3, and we have the AoE ult with Water Rimuru and the single target ult with Velzard. We have 100 skill points because we used Hakurou to boost up our skills and we had a full 6 orange, so we're looking pretty good here, and we don't actually have any Soei cards, so we can freely swap in Windmillum here and use her ult buff and then the Velzard attack boost here. We don't have enough to use like Alice's Pierce or something because we don't have that many skill points and we don't have another Hakurou gauge, but we can at least buff Velzard as much as we can. So right here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do that. So spreading the damage, always like normal. We'll send Velzard against the last bat who's going to have the lowest amount of health, and then we'll have Water Rimuru clean up with the AoE here. Again, the strategy does exist where you can get 2 single targets and just take out one of the bats with these normals, and then just double single target ult one of the bats, but I rarely get that kind of luck, so this is the easiest way for me. So Velzard and Rimuru cleans up, and we get 36-1. Reasonable. Not the greatest, but reasonable. But that is the strategy. 3 turns. The Frostbite and the Velzard boost on turn 2 is really important, though. This is a really specific team. Like, the water team by itself, if you didn't summon for any of the, like, the units, your team comps are going to look very, very wonky. You might have to use, like, Charybdis or something and go for, you know, the whole hand of greens. That way you can get Cabby online, and that's, you know, if you have the full protection gauge. It can get really fucking janky, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really have a secondary team for you guys to use here that's gonna score you, like, decent points, because it's gonna push you turn 4 or even turn 5, just because you're waiting for ults, unless you use Cabby, unless you get, like, really godly RNG turn 2. I can try, but it's not gonna look pretty, so we'll be right back. Alright, here is the team I have built using none of the previous month's water meta units. Yeah, it's kinda wonky. Charybdis, Soe, Yuki, Valentine, Milim, and Rimuru with the protection gauge. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I guess it's a strategy. I guess it is a strategy. You're missing out on quite a few points, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. So right here we'll use Yuki's orb change for the blues into greens. Get that 6-card send. We'll just send Soe and Yuki first and maybe not waste any points with the Valentine ultimate right here. Or not, because he guarded one of my Yuki hits. Okay. Alright, so we have Cabby for turn 2, but again, I don't know if we have the DPS, and that is not a Valentine hand. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So, yeah, I guess we can do this. And then we can use Soe and Valentine to orb change. And that'll get us, you know, four cards. Thank the Lord. And we kill the first bat, the middle bat, which I think gives the defense to the other 2. So, yeah, I think it gives all the buffs, actually. Oh, hey, a counter. Yeah, this is gonna be real rough. Real rough right here. Okay, so we have the ult. Really looking for a Yuki ult right here, so you know what? Because we're going to get most of these points back, let's use Yuki's orb change again. And then we will go ahead and send all this. Pop, 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 pop. And then the final hit, so we'll save Valentine's ult right here. I guess that's good. So we're on turn 5 now. And again, this is a turn 3 kill scenario. So right here, we're going to keep Yuki and Soe in for the, you know, the damage. And we'll swap out Valentine for the ult boost right here, and then we'll bring in Rimuru for the attack boost. And then we're just going to really have to pray that Yuki has the DPS to take out one of these bats, which I don't know if he does, even with the attack boost. So 1, 2, 3, and then ult over here, and ult over here, and we pray this kills. Okay, he does. Alright. So, middle bat down, and then the 2 single target ults. 44,000 there, and Yuki does... Oh, right, we haven't even watched his ult in a long time. 19-8. Let's see what kind of score this spits out. 32-3, so definitely not the greatest. We've missed out on a lot of damage from attacking with Valentine because it does not contribute to our weakness damage score. We've also taken a lot more damage because we've allowed ourselves to get hit because we went on for multiple turns. But that is technically a strategy you could use for normal battle 2. So with that said, let's move on to normal battle 3. Okay, this is the team that I was recommended by my admin Sin from my Discord. So for normal battle 3, you're supposed to use a light team. So we're using Ramiris for the orb changing and for the light damage boost that she gives. Gazel for the nuke, Hinata for his link for the alt gauge increase on turn 1. And then he's got protection, and then we've got the 2 protection characters in here in a slot, and then you're pretty much a waste of a space except for that. And then Shuna with Benimaru for his alt gauge increase on turn 1. Murin for her double orb change. Dark Xion because she gives alt gauge every 3 turns. And then Milim for the alt damage boost. So the team looks a little janky, but it does work, I promise you. I was a little skeptical at first as well, but I was proven wrong. Or, well, proven right, I guess. I was proven wrong because Sin was right. That's how this works out. Okay, so turn 1 is 2 greens and 4 oranges. So Earth Milim and Dark Milim are here for the slot for the protection gauge, but you immediately sub them out for Murin, so we can use her orb change here and get a full hand of oranges. And that gets everyone very, very close to an alt right here. So we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. And now, because we get the extra alt gauge turn 1 because I've attached Benimaru to Shuna, she now has an alt on turn 2, which is important. And then Gazel is very, very close. If I had Hinata at 92, he would also have an ult, which would be pretty nice. But I don't have Hinata at 92. I have her at 84, because again, I'm not very lucky. So we've taken out Pig 1. Now we're on to Pig 2. And hopefully we get a good hand. That I would consider that a very good hand, because we're going to use Ramiris here, which is going to change that 1 orange into a blue. And then we have a full 6 hard send. So now, because we're going to nuke with Gazel on turn 3, because we should get Gazel's ult by sending all of these. Yeah, we'll get Gazel's ult by sending one of those. We're going to actually overkill the second piggy with Shuna here. And so we're going to send 3 Shuna cards, Shuna's ult, and then we'll follow up the other 2. That way we can get the full meter and, get everything we can. Unfortunately, we do not get the ult with Murin here, but we're only on turn 2. And because I've attached Dark Xion to her, who gives ultimate gauge every 3 turns, next turn, this will actually give us Murin's ult. So we're looking pretty good right here. This is probably one of the better hands that I've ever gotten on this damn stage. So let's go ahead and send this. So the 3 cards right here does not quite kill the pig, and then she will clean up with 17,200 against Pig 2, which still counts towards weakness damage. And then we're on to the big piggy. And so now you see that Dark Xian's trait has kicked in. We now have the ult for Murin as well. We can go ahead and use Ramiris here to change those oranges into blues again. And now we have just enough points to swap out Light Shuna for Milim to use the ult boost and then both of Gazel's boosts. And now here, if you're going for, your max amount of damage, you're going to farm the stage for a while until you can hit Gazel's 20% crit on the piggy. But right here, we'll go ahead and send... let's see. We'll go ahead and send, I think, 1 Gazel card, Murin ult, and then Gazel himself. And we'll see how this does. So, okay, well, he guarded that hit, so that's wasted. Murin, okay, did decent damage, and now Gazel's going to come in here and 43,000. He would have hit like 50-something if we crit, but turn 3, we ulted with Shuna on turn 2, we ulted with Gazel and Murin on turn 3, and that gives us 36.9 right here, which is a pretty good score. I think I'm at like 37-1, so we're pretty close. That if we had crit, I think I actually would have gotten a higher score. But that is how you get the orc down on 3 turns. There is a strategy where you use Hakurou and Hinata instead up here, and you attach Shuna onto Gazel for more damage. I can show that off. Let's take a look at that. Okay, here is the alternate team that I was using before I was recommended the other one. So we've got Hakurou, we've got Gazel with Shuna, Leon for the light damage with the protection trait, Hinata with the protection trait, Mirin, and then Wind Milim. Now this team doesn't work quite as well. You don't do quite as much damage, but the possibility exists that it can work for you if you have Hakurou and if you don't have Ramiris. So let's show off what we can do here. It's almost the same. Almost the same. So we'll bring in Mirin for Leon here. We'll still use her orb change on turn 1. And then we'll go ahead and just send this at Piggy 1. We'll have enough for the Hakurou gauge turn 2. But obviously we're not launching an alt on turn 1. At least I don't think so. I don't think Hinata has enough to get her ult right here. No, she doesn't. Okay, so now for here, we've got a hand. So Hakurou is going to go ahead and change this for us and give us points. So we'll be at maximum points already. So here we're going to have to pray that we can kill this piggy with the 6-card send as well. And pop, okay, whoa, the guard is not helping. I don't know if we'll kill him here, actually. Okay, good, we do. Alright. So, there's turn 2, so now we're on turn 3, we have many ults. So right here, we can go ahead and swap Mirin out for Light Milim. And then we'll go ahead and use the Gazel buffs and then the alt boost here. And now what I did is I actually sent Hinata's ult first and then Gazel's ult, because I think Hinata does about 2/3 of his damage right here. Because she's only boosted by the ult damage. So I think actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and send this. Maybe we could send one more Hinata card. I don't want to risk it though. So let's go ahead and do this. How much damage does Hinata do here? Yeah, we could have sent two more Hinata cards actually, and then Gazel cleans up with the no crit, 27,000. So that is, another strategy you could use. It is considerably less than the 39,000 we hit with the first team, but again, as long as you can score something reasonable, at least you'll place. But that's it for the normal battles. Let's move on now to the boss battle, and really there's only the one team that I've used. And if you don't have it, I'm sorry. Okay, here is the team that I used for all of my boss battles. Charybdis, boosting the greens. Gazel for the nuke. Benimaru attached to give him the additional ult gauge on turn 1. Kurobe for his single orange to single blue orb change that gets us Cabby turn 2. Protection, Valentine for the greens because we're feeding Cabby. Hakurou for his nuke as well, alongside Dark Xion for her ult gauge on turn 3, and then Wind Milim for her boost as well. So, on a perfect run, on boss battle 2 and 3, you need to kill Ramiris on turn 3. And that is where I start to have issues with this JUBILEE. Not because I personally have issues. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have issues killing boss battle 3 on turn 3. But if I have trouble killing Ramiris on turn 3, how the hell is someone who does not have my box going to kill her on turn 3? So, you need a specific team to do that level of output damage on her. And if you don't got it, you don't got it. And you're pushing turn 4, turn 5, maybe even higher than that. Because she locks you in on turn 4. You can't switch out for 2 turns. So then if you don't kill her on turn 4 and you don't switch out for everyone, then you're going to have to wait until turn 6 and then turn 8. And then by then, your score is looking like garbage. So I will show you the strategy. How it comes up for your team is, again, up to your box and your dupes and your gear. So let us begin. And it, honestly, it took me a while to even get this kind of score on Boss Battle 3, because sometimes I don't get lucky and I don't hit the crit. And if you don't hit the crit, she's going to live with like 10,000 health, and then you just feel real bad about it. And I've got a level 100 Gazelle and a level 100 Hakurou. My Valentine is not level 100. I'm sure that would help, but again, I don't know, guys. So right here, we're going to use Kurobe for the single orb change here. And then he goes away. We're going to bring Hakurou in for, I think, Valentine. And then we'll bring in Windmillum for Kurobe. And then we will go ahead and send these 4 blues, getting Cabby online. We've got 3 greens already, so I mean, if in a perfect hand, we'll get mostly greens and, 1 blue, 1 orange, or yeah, just like that. Perfect. This actually works out really well for a turn 3 kill right here. So let's go ahead and take out Windmillum for Valentine now. And then we'll use the orb change with her to get a 6 hand of green. We'll use Charybdis to boost the crap out of these greens. Boost! Haven't said that in a while. And then we'll go ahead and send this entire hand, and we'll have an ult for both Hakurou and Gazelle right here. Almost Valentine, but sure, not really important because we're swapping you out anyways. But we have maximum points, which is the most important thing. Because we need 140 points to do this, and this will give us 140. Let's go ahead and do this. Pop, 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 pop. Hey, a crit. I'll take a crit. Cool. Alright. And this does 5,000 damage. So we're looking pretty good right here. We've taken out a third of her health. That's actually a very good hand right there. Alright. So, let us go ahead and swap out now Valentine for Millum. And we shall use the Gazelle buffs, the Millum buff, and the Hakurou debuff and crit rate up by 30%. 140 points exactly. So now, what you're really, really looking for right here is these 3 Gazelle cards, and then a Hakurou crit, and then a Gazelle crit. That way Hakurou gets her down to like somewhere around here, and then Gazelle can kill the rest of her off. Now, it is a 30% chance of doing that. So sometimes you roll the dice and it does not come up. Sometimes you get 3 crits with the normals, but no crits for the ults, and you don't kill her. Sometimes you don't get any crits, and she sits at like this much health, and then you feel real bad. But let's see what happens here. So 1, 2. Okay, so we got 1 crit on the normal. Just 1 crit. So Hakurou, let's see if he crits on his ult. He does not. 20,000. Let's see if Gazelle crits. Gazelle does crit for 36k on a turn 3 on Boss Battle 3 right here. And our score is 70.5, which is pretty good. Actually, it is really good. Because it just beat my old score. Okay. So, just imagine, had Hakurou also crit on his ult, her health would have been even lower, which means Gazelle's ult would have hit even further beyond her health bar, which would have ensured that I would actually get a higher score than this. Also, I did find on my last previous runs that you could actually, if you don't have it, you could wait until turn 4. If you don't have 2 ults, you can wait till turn 4 and then use all those buffs and hope that your overkill damage outshines the points that you lose from the turn bonus. So that actually was a pretty good run right there. I'm quite pleased with that. So that was Boss Battle 3. Now, I don't generally show Boss Battle EX because it is generally just a harder Boss Battle 3. But the turn to kill on EX is actually turn 4. So I'm going to use the same team here. And we're going to try it again. But you do get that extra turn to build up ults, to build up points, and to just do more damage to Ramiris before you actually have to nuke her down. Because she has very high stats in this stage. And for some people, it's a problem killing boss battle 3. So killing EX is just not fun. So the same strategy though. So we're gonna change with Kurobe, and then we're gonna swap Hakurou in for Valentine, and then Milim in for Kurobe. And I'm swapping Hakurou in for Valentine instead of Kurobe because most of my runs during the day, I've gotten nothing but Valentine cards coming up after this, and I would not get a single Hakurou card. And so I'd be like a double Gazel alt and like one Hakurou card, and then one Milim card. And it's like, nah, that's not what we're looking for. But let's go ahead and send this and see what we get next turn. So what are we looking like right here? Okay, perfect. Not really, because as you can see, we have, 2 Gazels, 3 Milims, and 1 Hakurou card, just like what I was afraid of. So regardless of where I put them in, I'm always going to get 1. But we can go ahead and swap in Valentine for Milim, and at least use her orb change here. And that way we can get a 6-card send, and we can at least start working on a Hakurou ult because we do have an extra turn of play here. So let's go ahead and send the Val, send the Gazel, and then send the Hakurou card. We just really need 1 green of Hakurou to come up here, or a whole hand of Hakurou, and then we'll be looking fine. As long as that happens, then we can still do what we need to do. And we kinda do. So let's go ahead and swap out Gazel for... Actually, let's swap both of them out, really. It doesn't really matter. So that gets us 2 Hakurou cards right there. That's perfect. We'll take out you as well. Alright. So really, this is the most important thing. I could send all these Windmill cards instead, but we really, really need Hakurou to get that ult. So let's use Cabby, just, open up the skill point pool even more. And then we'll send these 2 cards, and then we really have to pray. So let's go ahead and send these 2. 1, 2. Alright. So I have to make sure not, mess... Oh, we got binded. Right. Okay, so we have to wait till turn 6 now, which is a misplay on my part. So we should have kept Gazel in here and just lived with the Hakurou ult. So here's the unfortunate side effect of not paying attention. So we'll just go ahead and whittle her down even more before we nuke her. So now we're on to turn 5. And then we'll go ahead and... Okay, there's the heal. Here's an ult. So turn 6. So we'll send 1 more... How long are these blues nerfed for, actually? I don't remember. 1 more turn. So let's go ahead and send these 2. Go ahead and use Cabby again. It doesn't really matter. And then we'll just have to live through this ult. Okay. Alright, and then the bind will wear off here. Alright, cool. And now we can go ahead and use Windmillim's ult boost right here. And then we'll bring in Gazel for Kurobe. Alright. And then, you know what, we can bring in Valentine as well. Alright, so we're going to use the boosts and the crit resistance down. Or the defense down and the crit rate up. And then I think we'll go ahead and send everything. And we'll see if this kills. 1. And 2. And then Valentine. If she crits, does like 19. Yeah, Hakurou, if he crits, does like 25-ish. So there's 19, so that actually works out pretty well. And if Gazel can get a crit here, which he doesn't, so we've killed turn 6 now because we got binded on turn 4 because I misplayed, and our score is 28,000. So definitely pretty low on the totem pole considering that my normal score is 132,000. So let's try EX one more time. Okay, let's see if this hand wants to work for me. I think instead maybe we'll swap in Hakurou for someone else. We'll swap in Hakurou for Kurobe this time. And then we'll just let it run like this. So pop, 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 pop. That way we at least get a guaranteed green Hakurou right here. That way we can at least start working on his ult. See what the hand plays out for. Okay. Well, this actually isn't terrible. It's not terrible, because we can burn these greens, and then we have another green Hakurou coming, and these will be boosted as well. So I think this will actually still work out. I think this will still work. So let's use these next. Alright, so what are we looking like here? Interesting. Alright, so now we've got the bind coming in, so we have to make sure to bring in Windmillum for Valentine here. Let's go ahead and use the orb change, though, just to change one of those oranges. Okay. Perfect, I think. So now let's bring in Windmillum for Valentine. Go ahead and send these greens. We have 113 points, so we don't quite have enough, though. So maybe we're 132 points. Okay, so that's really unfortunate right there, actually. Oh, but we have a full 6-card send, so maybe it's not quite as bad. So we have to forego one of Gazel's boosts right here. So we gotta use 1, 2, and then 3. So we're missing out on the crit damage buff. But at least we're on turn 4 now. We've gotten the 2 big buffs out of the way, and we have a 6-card send right here. So let's go ahead and send it and see how we turn out. 1, 2, 3... Okay, we got a guard in there. Gazel, 6,000 Pierce. So if Hakurou can crit, we'll actually look really good. Alright, 25. And then Gazel, do you want to crit as well? No crit. We still got the kill, but we can at least see that turn 4 is the full turn bonus right here. Yep, so turn 4, max score right here, 31-1. Still decent score. Not my highest, though, but still a decent score. So there's the turn 4 EX kill right there. And I'm out of tickets, so perfect. So, this Jubilee, very specific. Honestly, I don't know what other teams to run to get a turn 3 kill in here. Except this team. Like, you can run all sorts of different cabi. You can try and run Diablo, try and run Dark Millum, try and run, your best DPS, but it's pretty much going to revolve around this kind of team. So you can use, like, Fire Millum can come in here to be, your blue orb changer, maybe your crit buff instead of, lowering defense and 30% crit farming right here. Wind Millum for the ult boost. Valentine is kind of necessary if you're going to run cabi, just because. And then your strongest nuker. It could be a whole amalgamation of whatever units you have, but you have to kill her turn 3 or turn 4, and you got to have enough points to, get your buffs up. Otherwise, you're looking at turn, 6 or turn 8 for the kill, which is not going to help you score overly high, but it'll at least help you score. So hopefully this video helps you guys out. I know it's super whaley, and I know a lot of people are not happy with the format of this Jubilee. I'm going to discuss that in a separate video on my thoughts on it. But again, I hope this helped you guys out. Let me know in the comments if it did. If you were able to improve your score at all, let me know, because I like to hear that these videos actually help people. And if you haven't liked the video, subscribe, do all that whole jazzy jazz. But for now, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you later.